Billions beg for life of Western oppression, surfing the internet and popping into Starbucks. We know, you know, we know, and we're not gonna let you get away with it. Well, we are actually. In the UK, Queen Lizard Breath plans Jubilee celebrations, rubbing the landless peasant's face in her muff. Hello, enchanted beings of light. Welcome to the FKN Newz. I'm high on crack and toting a machine gun. Here are the headlines tonight. Billions of barely living human beings all over the planet Earth are massed at the borders of the developed world, begging for a taste of our evil, nasty corporations' iron rule. Vast hordes stare with jealous eyes at the cruel, harsh life of the oppressed Western world, where each and every person consumes hundreds of liters of fresh water every day, where every country wastes or throws away millions of tons of food every year, where bankers have created a tyrannical world of clean drinking water, social media, and Lady Gaga. Here's our lumpy gravy correspondent, Strokespert. Here we are, in some filthy nation full of brown people we don't give a fuck about. There are billions of Earth people, just like you and me here, apart from they're on the wrong side of the border. Ha ha ha! Well, that's it really, isn't it? I mean, if we were just buffalo or pigeons, the fuckers would be right over here in our countries like a flash, taking advantage of the tyrannical oppressive rule that we suffer under. Yes. Well, we spoke to one of the hungry, disease-ridden scum desperate for a taste of our miserable lives of pain and exploitation, and we asked them why they would want to suffer like us. Oh, please, let us into your terrible, dark, despotic country. We yearn to be treated so badly by our rulers that fresh water runs from taps in every home. We long to be denied our democratic rights in dodgy elections so we can complain about it on the internet using our mobile phones and laptops. We beseech you to allow us into the terrible world of state surveillance, where the government watches and monitors you at every step as you shop, drink lattes, and bitch about the state of the economy. Here in our nation, we have no corrupt, exploitative, profit-mongering healthcare systems to rip us off with overpriced patented drugs, or any other kind of healthcare, actually. Here in our impoverished nations, we have no biased justice system or expensive state apparatus educating or brainwashing our children. We only have armed thugs shooting people in the street and 1 million children a year sold into the sex trade. So sad as it is to hear the pathetic whinging of these poor brown people, don't be too sympathetic to their plight. After all, we didn't get rich by giving a fuck about poverty in other places. In fact, we got rich by creating poverty in other places. Ha ha ha! Only joking. Well, not really. The Western world's wealth is built upon hundreds of years of globalization and inequality. But don't take my word for it, just cast your mind over history. Someone needs to explain this to these savages. I mean, we need their poverty. It ensures our cheap tea and coffee, iron, coal, steel. It props up our reasonably priced wheat, rice, soya, laptops, etc. Blah, blah. I mean, what would happen if there were no borders, no nations to segregate, divide and imprison? I mean, identify one people from another. No, we can never let these people share our suffering. We alone must shoulder the burden of street lighting, YouTube, pizza delivery, and bankers' rule. We must sacrifice ourselves for the greater good, relieving them of the need for these brown people to suffer medical care, long lives, modern infrastructure, and free Wi-Fi in Starbucks when you buy a skinny double decaf latte. Thanks, Strokespert, and there will be more on that story later. In other news, President Obama celebrates the end of the war in Iraq and the liberation of its people by visiting America to tell Americans how great the war was. In a visit to Fort Bragg, he didn't say, "Freedom is not free. You had to pay for it. Since we invaded Iraq in 2003, dumb has been paid for by American armed forces and taxpayers. But we should all be proud of our accomplishments in Iraq, because we spent $1 trillion. We killed almost 1 million people, mostly civilians. We destabilized the region, created a recruitment bonanza for terror organizations, which didn't exist before our invasion. We divided Iraq ethnically and spawned sectarian violence that still rages today. We turned a secular technological nation with a high percentage of educated women into an Islamic mumbo-jumbo backwater, where religious nutters now fill the majority of official or government posts, and women are once again second-class citizens. We bombed Iraq's infrastructure back to the Stone Age, increased child mortality, lowered life expectancy, degraded water and power supplies, and along the way sacrificed the lives of over 4,000 and made enemies around the world. Even if we hope to secure oil for our national security, we have actually halved Iraq's production compared with pre-war figures. And we did all of this because of the non-existent threat of weapons we knew didn't exist and never had. That is why I've come here today to thank you, brave men and women of our armed forces, because it is your efforts that there is now more freedom than ever before. Thank you, and God bless the United States of America. You couldn't make this shit up. Hello and welcome to Infobores. Things are bad, people. The screws are turning and the tyranny is getting ever worse. Rest assured that here at Infobores we will remain on air forever if necessary to continue telling you things you already knew that were obvious to anyone with a fucking pulse and could be learned from 2 minutes in a history book. Yes, it's thanks to Infobores that you know the world is owned by and controlled by a small group of powerful people whose name only we dare to speak. They are the very rich. Yeah, the very rich don't want you to know that they own and control the world and all of its important resources, but we at Infobores are breaking through the matrix to bring you the truth and fight the evil fascist globalist agenda of the very rich. For years, nobody knew the very rich secretly had lots of money and power. Well, some people did. Well, okay, most people knew. Okay, it was obvious to anyone who cared to think about it for a split second. But what really matters is that we keep telling people, whether they know or not, that the very rich are very rich, and the very rich are very powerful, and the very rich are in control. That's what's important. What we don't want to do is take practical, useful steps to organize genuinely constructive events to change these things. Instead, keep turning into Infowars. Tell your friends there's a war on to constantly remind you of things people have known since the dawn of time. Infobores, telling you again and again things that are exactly like they always have been since monkeys fell out of the trees. The very rich are in power, and lots of other people are not. Join us next week to hear the same thing again as we broadcast to the world and confront the very rich with our powerful message. We know, you know that we know, you know we know. And we're not going to let you get away with it. Well, we are, but not for much longer, because we're going to tell the world again that that's what's happening. Okay, see you next week on Infobores.
Hey, it's me, Conspiracy Clown, because it's not enough your government are lying, murdering scum. So, I hear the trails of chem are being sprayed all across the skies of the world in a secret program to kill us all, or alter our consciousness, change the Earth into a nice home for aliens who want to suck our brains out, or spread nanotechnology into our bodies so we can be mind-controlled or brainwashed into believing everything is great. Hey. Let's imagine for a second that shit is true and we have genuine cause for alarm. Okay. Well, If you're one of those people spreading the news, I have a suggestion for you that might help persuade people to take you seriously. Okay, you ready? Get a fucking gas mask, man! How dare you appear in public, breathing in the nano-poison mind control goo, telling us how dangerous it is and how the satanic Illuminati and New World Order are going to kill/cult humanity with this secret program of murdering alien geoengineering woo, whilst you're breathing in the fucking stuff. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Go to eBay, get a gas mask, shove your face in it, and then tell me how poisonous the air is. Or shut the fuck up. Hey. By the way, it's not a secret that governments all over Earth have been spraying shit in the atmosphere for 50 years. Check it out. I used Google to have a look, and it's totally not a secret. There are lists of programs involving weather modification, chemical agent dispersal, and other stuff been going on for years. And you know what? I'll bet you $1 million there's shit going on we do know nothing about. In fact, I'd be disappointed if there wasn't. After trillions of dollars were spent by shady Secret Service black op types, I expect they've got death rays, captured a couple of flying saucers, built a moon base, and filmed Marilyn Monroe sucking JFK's dick. But where's the pile of dead bodies? The human population is so abundant, I may never have to breed with my sister to save humanity, which is a shame, because she's a looker. Here's a time-lapse chemtrail video I filmed. Look, you can totally see the trails of chem coming out of my car. Hey. What's that? You have a car as well? OMG. It's almost as if people with cars who go on about chemtrails are total hypocrites or unthinking retards. Say it ain't so. Until next time, be well, be happy, be free.
Is the drug. Music is the drug. Music is the drug for me. Music is my cup of tea. Music for you publicly. Music for you privately. Music is the drug. Mainline. In the UK, the royal family has been planning celebrations for the Queen's Diamond Jubilee. Buckingham Palace has published a full schedule of events around Britain and across the world designed to rub the filthy peasant scum's face in our majesty and remind them just whose bitches they are. The Queen will tour the whole of the United Kingdom, wafting her sexual pheromones throughout the hive, ensuring the insect-like masses get a good whiff of her pussy juice from specially designed Jubilee knickers with extra thick gussets. From the royal helicopter, train and motorcade, the Queen's pussy juice will pervade the nation, reaffirming the population's position as subservient livestock in the royals' animal farm. A special barge will be constructed upon which the Queen will sail down the Thames. Buns up, legs akimbo, the people of London will be treated to a very special sight. Her Majesty's glory hole, resplendent in lubricating mucus, widened by multiple larvae births. The Queen's muff will queef its thanks to a city of fawning insect-like dullards who failed to evolve past the mumbo-jumbo heritage of the Dark Ages. Other members of the royal family will travel the world, visiting each nation of which she is head of state, carrying bottled muff juice and hankies moistened with her guff, to ensure her position as world's biggest landowner, richest woman, and most preeminent fascist Nazi inbred fuckwit are maintained. Thanks, and now the weather. The planet's fucked, it's your fault, and it's getting worse. Tune in next week to see if things are just the same or if somehow, magically, something has changed.